Hey, what's up you guys? This is Neti. Welcome to this channel. I come from Albania. I was born there and then I've lived in a few countries around the world. Among the countries that I've lived are Denmark, Germany, England, Wales, and now I'm living in the United States of America. They have all been great places to live in and I love them. Each one of them has something unique to offer. So if you want to visit or live there, feel free. I think they're just great. Living in Europe and in America, people are always in a rush, trying to get things done. Would you like to know what people that are in a rush are called in Europe? They are called Russians. You guessed it right. Would you like to know what people in America are called that are in a rush? They are called, I'm not telling you. Wait until the end and I'll tell you. Now, if you are from those countries that I just mentioned, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. It will help me a lot. And I promise you, I will make you laugh. Making these videos, it has taken me a long time just because it takes a lot of preparation. To make this video possible, you have to do research. I had to buy all the equipments that I need to use, like a camera or the lens, and I had to buy the lights. Two lights and a lot of expenses. And besides that, you have to know how to speak to the camera, which is to the public. And it's been a roller coaster, but frankly, I do love it because I want to share these things with you. So the topic that we're going to cover for today are credit cards. What are credit cards? Why do we need a credit card? What are the benefits and everything else that comes with a credit card? Please make sure to comment. If you have a question, I read them all. I might not respond to them all. I do the best that I can to respond to them. But if you have questions, please let me know in the comments below and I will respond to each one of them. Because in this channel, I want to make sure that you are successful. So what is a credit card? A credit card is usually a piece of plastic or metal, with metal being my favorite one, because usually a metal credit card has a higher limit. It's a piece of plastic or metal that gives you the ability to borrow money and use that money that these financial institutions give you. Usually use these credit cards wherever credit cards are accepted, like Cafe Rio or Walmart, you name it. According to Investopedia, a credit card is a thin, rectangular piece of plastic or metal issued by a bank or financial services company that allows cardholders to borrow funds with which to pay for goods and services with merchants that accept cards for payment. Credit cards impose the condition that cardholders pay back the borrowed money plus any applicable interest as well as any additional agreed upon charges, either in full, by the billing date, or over time. Yes, credit cards allow you to buy things that are not available to you right now, even if you don't have money, but they can start to accrue interest. So make sure that whenever you buy something with a credit card, you know what the credit card has to offer and the due diligence. Something else that goes along with a credit card is a cash line of credit. I'll give you an example. My Discover credit card, which gave me a $10,000 credit limit, gave me a $600 cash advance money. So that means that I can take out up to $600 in cash from bank tellers, from ATMs, and so forth. I personally try to avoid this altogether just because whenever you do that, that is called a cash advance, interest starts to accrue. And sometimes these credit card companies, they start to charge you fees on top of this. Now that you know the basics of what a credit card is, piece of plastic or metal, go for the metal. If anyone tells you otherwise, no, just go for the metal if you have the option. Credit card has high interest rate or APR, known otherwise. These rates can vary from 11.82% up to 25.81%. A lot of credit cards have a 0% APR, usually in the promotion within the first year or year and a half. So make sure to know what your promotion for your credit card is and know the dates that it starts and dates that it ends. You know, something that in my research I thought it was interesting, a classical mistake that people do is using a credit card for various reasons. Like, for example, I went on this trip and I got stung by a bee. And I didn't know how to take the venom of the bee out. And a friend of mine suggested that I should use a credit card to take the venom out. And I mentioned to her, no, if I do that, if I use a credit card for that purposes, it's going to be very expensive. Now that was a joke, but leaving the jokes aside, do not use a credit card to take the venom out. We have two types of credit cards, secured credit cards and unsecured credit cards. You probably know the secured and unsecured credit cards are, but I will mention it anyways. So an unsecured credit card is a credit card that we usually have, which is not secured by deposit. In contrast, credit cards that are secured, you have to deposit your own money, and that deposit that you make is usually the credit limit that you have. So basically you are spending your own money. It will function like a debit card, but it is a credit card, and it will build a credit history for you. Secure credit cards are usually suggested to people that have a poor credit history, so they start to build their history. So if you're just starting with credit cards, I would suggest to go for a secured credit card. If you are in the middle of the way and you already have 1 or 2 or 3 credit cards, make sure that you get an unsecured credit card and that you can get the best terms possible. Number 3, something really important that you have to have in mind is when the due dates are coming. Various companies have different due dates. For example, one bank can have it on the 1st. Another bank can have it on the 18th or 25th or 17th or by the end of the month. Make sure that you know when your due dates come due, because that is when usually interest starts to accumulate, and you do not want or you do not desire to pay interest. Who wants to pay interest? Whenever the due date comes, you can choose either to pay the credit card in full or to pay the minimum possible, which when you pay the minimum possible, you pay the interest that comes with that minimum possible. I would not suggest that. For me and what I do, I try to pay everything on time, usually 2 to 3 days after I buy something, so I don't have to pay any interest. There's a great example that Wikipedia shows us how this interest is accumulated. Now, upon more research, I was trying to see what countries use credit cards, and to my surprise, there is this one country in Europe that does not use credit cards. Can you guess which one it is? It is the Czech Republic. And yes, Czech Republic, even though credit card companies do not like you or do not love you, my car engine dashboard light loves you, and it just actually came out a week ago. What I personally try to do with credit cards is use a credit card like a debit card. So I only try to spend with a credit card with money that I would have to spend them on. And once you spend that money and you build that cashback and that history, that credit history, please make sure to pay always on time. Now, using a credit card has perks, because a credit card can protect you from unauthorized purchases. If someone gets your credit card is stolen, and someone actually makes purchases on it, you can go to the credit card companies and let them know that it has happened. But you have to do this as soon as possible, because in the terms and conditions, usually credit card companies have that 5 days or 30 days or 2 months. If you do not report this unauthorized transaction within the time frame, they will start to charge you like $5, $100, $500, and sometimes they charge you the entire sum. So make sure, if unauthorized purchases happen, to report it as soon as possible. This is key. Whenever you have the option to choose between cashback, miles, or points, always choose cashback. This is what I always tell to my friends and my family. You can buy tickets and grocery, but you cannot buy grocery with points or miles. So make sure that whenever you choose a credit card, you choose the cashback option. I promise you, this will give you more options than the rest. Now, something interesting that I learned when I did this, and I did all of this research to show to you, is that by law, credit card companies have to offer at least 21 days before they start to accrue charges. This is great. I thought that it's like a few days or like a week or 2, but no, 21 days is great. I personally would suggest to you that you should buy something and pay it within 3 days. But if you can pay it within 3 days, you have about 20 to 21 days before that happens and interest starts to accumulate. So please keep that in mind. Read your contract, read within the lines, because it is right there. And I always love to put a story in my videos. So I'm going to share with you a story that it's a true story based on true events. I've met both of these girls, and the story goes like this.
There once were 2 girls, and both had credit cards. The first girl had a part-time job and went to school. Whenever she would buy something, she would be using a credit card and then pay everything on time. One day she did not have groceries, and her paycheck would come in 3 days. She thought to herself, I'll buy groceries with the credit card and pay it back once my paycheck comes through. And that's what she did. She bought groceries with her credit card, and in 3 days, she paid back everything in full. The second girl had $120 saved in her account and thought to herself, I have some money in my account, and I would like to have the latest Nintendo Wii. I don't have enough money to buy it, but I can use the credit card, and then I'm sure I can pay it off somehow when the payment is due. She got the Wii, and then when the due payment came, she did not have enough money to pay for it in full. She paid the minimum due plus interest, and by the end, she had paid 2 times as much to the creditor.
Now, which one of the two girls do you think made the wiser financial decision? Let me know in the comments below. But make sure to subscribe and destroy that like button because it will help the video. Now, I know we had another joke about Americans being in a rush, and I'm going to share that with you. Do you know what they call an American that is in a rush? I would usually say a gold rusher. But in this case, because I was baptized, a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I'm going to say a Mormon dating.